our top story, because this is something that has spread panic not just in Delhi but across the country. This is something that everyone does. Everyone orders pizza, everyone orders food online, so you should pay very close attention to this. There's been a big virus scare in South Delhi's Malviya Nagar after a pizza delivery boy tested positive for coronavirus this week. All the 72 families who received pizza from this particular delivery man working in a South Delhi eatery have now been put under home quarantine, and those 72 South Delhi homes have been completely sealed. 17 other delivery boys who worked with the infected individual have also been put under institutional quarantine. The delivery boy reportedly had symptoms for over 20 days and was tested positive on the 14th of April. The Delhi police has sealed parts of Malviya Nagar as a precautionary measure. Food delivery major Zomato has admitted that some of the orders for the restaurant where the infected delivery boy worked were routed through the popular food delivery app. It added that it is not sure if the person was infected at the time of delivery. It has also assured its customers on its efforts on safe delivery. I want to first take you through the timeline of this delivery, because everyone is curious. There's a lot of misinformation, especially on social media. Let me take you through the timeline of this delivery so you know what actually happened. This delivery boy, the pizza delivery boy, he's from Savitri Nagar in Delhi. He picked up the pizzas from the Malviya Nagar eatery. That's the pizza kitchen which makes these pizzas. He picked them up from Malviya Nagar. He then visited houses. This is over many different days, of course, not the same day. 72 houses over a few days. Since the 27th of March, 72 different houses in and around the South Delhi area were visited by this individual. 14th April, this pizza delivery boy tested positive, unfortunately. I want to make it very clear here on India Today that delivery boys are heroes. They are under stress, they are under pressure, and they have to continue to work under very, very difficult conditions. So even for a minute, I don't want our viewers to think that we are in some way demonizing delivery boys. They are the true heroes, and we will continue to speak on their behalf. Now tell you about the companies that are involved in this particular case. And once again, we're not pointing fingers, we're only asking questions and giving you the facts because we don't want to spread panic. Box 8, that's Box 8, Desi Meals, is the company that owns this South Delhi pizza restaurant called Mojo Pizza in Malviya Nagar. That's the restaurant that made these deliveries. Zomato used to make deliveries from this particular restaurant. So you have Box 8, which is the company that owns Mojo, which is the kitchen in Malviya Nagar that make these pizzas, and the individual who delivered these pizzas picked up the pizzas from Mojo and was part of the Zomato ecosystem that delivers these pizzas to others. Zomato says they don't know if this individual was infected at the time of deliveries. They've put out a statement saying that some deliveries from this restaurant were via Zomato as well. Now I want to get you some voices, because people will be wondering, and I've got some do's and don'ts about food delivery that I'm going to put out on my screen in a moment. But I don't want any of our viewers watching from all over the country to panic right now. Please don't see this as a reason to suddenly stop ordering food online. That's not the answer at all. Don't panic. There are facts that you can be armed with. There are experts who will tell you what you need to do. And if you pay attention for the next 40 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything you actually need to know. I have with me Shuchi Singh. She's an author. She's going to be giving us a consumer perspective. Dr. Swapnil Parekh is a well-known physician in Mumbai. He's also written a book that's just come out on the coronavirus, and he's been advising civil society, governments, and people across the board on how to deal with coronavirus. But first, I want to start with Amit Bhargava, who happens to be a customer. He happens to be a customer who actually received pizza from this particular delivery boy who's now tested positive for coronavirus. Amit, thank you very much for being with me. I know this is a very difficult time. There's a lot of panic in a lot of places. Are you under quarantine right now, Amit?
Yeah, hi, Shiv. Thanks for having me. To start with, I would say no one needs to panic. Yes, I am under home quarantine. And I think we all need to take some safety precautions, and we should not.
Okay, so Amit, can you tell me when the pizzas were delivered to your house? Do you remember anything about the circumstances? This particular individual, this delivery boy, and we wish him the best of health. We don't want to even for a moment make it seem like he's some kind of villain. He's not. He was working under hard conditions. We just want to know under what circumstances food was delivered to your house. Do you remember the day?
Yeah, so Shiv, it's like this. Let's get the facts straight. I ordered a meal from Box 8. Now, Box 8, in the same kitchen, they also have a different brand called Mojo. These Box 8, Mojo, and there's one meal called Wraps, is all owned by Boxer Hospitality. So these are three different brands that operate in the same kitchen, use the same delivery man. So I ordered a meal at about 11:20 p.m. on 24th of March, which was delivered on the 25th. 30 minutes past midnight. Now, before I go to the real cause of the problem that we need to look at, I would first say that in the first place there were some factors on part of Box 8 as well. So the delivery man wasn't wearing a mask, he didn't have any gloves, and I did raise a ticket with Box 8, which they have not responded even until date. Yesterday when I sent them an email asking if he was the same person who delivered to me, they did not even respond to that. So that's the lapse on Box 8 part. But there is a other issue involved there, and that is the
yes, Amit, I'll come to that larger issue in just a moment. I just want to get I want to get some reactions in because you are a customer who received a pizza from this particular individual. There is anxiety across the board because you are one among several people who are now under this self-imposed quarantine as a result of this delivery. Shuchi Singh, I want to come to you. Before I go to Swapnil, Shuchi, as a consumer, you live in Delhi as well, in the national capital as well. I'm sure you order pizza and online food. What was your first reaction? Because we've been flooded with voices, which we'll play out in just a moment. But Shuchi, what was your reaction to this? Isn't it, sort of almost expected that there might be panic when something like this happens?
Of course, Shiv, there would be, and it is kind of worrying. But then I think here, like you said, it would be wrong to blame just the delivery guy because it's the entire chain of events. And it's just a matter of chance that at this time it was a delivery person who turned out to be corona positive. For whatever reason, he might not be very symptomatic or, might have ignored his symptoms. But then this entire chain of, the delivery right from the restaurants where food is prepared down to the one who packages it and then the one who carries it. Are there any audits in place that ensure that the sanitary standards are maintained at every step? And it's not just prepared food from restaurants, it's also the daily essentials that we get home delivered. So be it milk packets or vegetables. People who are handling those items, are they screened at any point? Is there an audit system? What steps are being taken to sort of ensure that that the safety chain is not broken?
That's a very good question. The audit system, the safety checks and balances. Dr. Parikh, to come to you, a lot of people now are completely dependent on home delivery of not just goodies like pizza, but also their essential items. But sticking to food deliveries, Swapnil, are you surprised that people are going to be anxious about something like this? And Shuchi asks the right questions. Are companies taking enough precautions? Or are they forcing delivery guys to work despite not being fit to?
Firstly, Shiv, thanks for having me back on your show. It's always a pleasure to be on a show where there's someone who gets the facts right and also touches upon the correct social issues. You very correctly pointed out that we should support delivery boys, the heroes. This is a difficult issue, and I want to share some information with all your viewers. We're kind of focusing on symptoms, and of course we should. But the scientific literature that we have, the studies that we have, says that between 30 to 70% of disease transmission with this virus occurs either by asymptomatic people or pre-symptomatic. So people who are infected and aren't going to fall sick, or people who are infected but aren't yet sick. So let's say about 50% of the transmission chain is invisible. So even if we focus our efforts on trying to find, and of course we should focus our efforts on trying to find and isolate the individuals who are sick, there's a bigger problem here.
Yes.
We can't see about half the transmission chain. I want to say something, and it's a little off topic, but it's about food. It's a little heartbreaking, because we have the privilege to talk about the safety and the security of our home deliveries. And the vast majority of our country right now doesn't have more than one meal in their house. They could be starving. And that pains me. It pains me because we have the privilege of talking about safe food. Just think about that. We can talk about the safety of our food.
No, I hear you. I think I'm glad you mentioned that. And believe me, I was going to take that up as well towards the end of this show, that talking about pizza delivery certainly comes from a position of privilege. The reason we've decided to focus on it is also because there could be a chain reaction. The people panicking and deciding not to order online food will have a cascading effect, not just on themselves. People themselves will have to go without food being delivered to them, but it will also have an impact on businesses, and it will have an impact on the delivery boys themselves. Many of them are bread earners. I want to play out some voices. Amit, I'm going to come back to you after I've hopefully fixed that audio. But after this pizza delivery boy tested positive, there's a major scare amongst delivery boys, colleagues of this individual. And we spoke to some of them, and believe me, this is a tough job. Just listen in to some of the reactions we've gotten in from those very delivery boys that bring food to our homes every day.
Ever since a delivery boy in the national capital tested positive for COVID-19, the entire delivery system is in question. I have with me some of these delivery boys who say that they understand the big risk that they are taking, but they don't have an option. शुरुआत के अंदर आप लोग जब आते हैं सुबह तो क्या सैनिटाइज करते हैं?
सुबह जब आते हैं तो हमारी डेली गाड़ी हम वॉश करते हैं. नॉर्मल गीला कपड़ा लेके जैसे डेटॉल वगैरह यूज करते हैं उस पानी के अंदर, उसको वॉश करते हैं नॉर्मल तरीके से. ये डेली 1-1 घंटा तो पॉसिबल हमारे लिए भी नहीं है गाड़ी को वॉश करना. नॉर्मल पूरी गाड़ी को क्लीन करते हैं, सैनिटाइज यूज करते हैं, हैंड ग्रिप पे सैनिटाइज लगाते हैं.
पहले कस्टमर को कॉल करते हैं, कॉल करके कस्टमर को बाहर बुलाते हैं. उसके बाद ऑर्डर में जहाँ तक कॉम्प्लेक्स हो वहाँ तक डाल देते हैं, कस्टमर खुद लेते हैं. उसके बाद सैनिटाइज करके वहाँ से फिर निकलते हैं, हंड्रेड पे सैनिटाइज करके ही चलते हैं.
मैक्सिमम हमारी कोशिश यही रहती है कि हम कस्टमर को कॉन्टैक्ट लेस डिलीवरी के थ्रू अपना ऑर्डर डिलीवर कर सके, ताकि वो सेफ्टी, उनका खाना भी उनके पास पहुँच जाए और हमारी भी सेफ्टी बनी रहे.
कहीं भी जाना इतना रिस्की हो गया है. मैं अपना कहूँ तो डेली एक बार को थोड़ी सी किलकिल होती है, घर से निकलते घर वाले थोड़ा लड़ते हैं मत जाओ, लेकिन क्या कहते हैं अब अर्निंग सोर्स हम ही हैं अपनी फैमिली का.
As you can see, these delivery boys here telling us the horror that they go through every day. They're also saying that they understand that the work that they are doing is essential. They make sure that they sanitize their bikes every day in the morning. Also make sure that once they deliver an item, before leaving that place, they follow the sanitization process 100%. This is Aishwarya Paliwal reporting for New Delhi for India Today with camera person Parminder Sharma.
After the incident in Delhi, the focus is yet again on the delivery boys. I'm in the suburban area of Sion in Mumbai. I have many delivery boys and girls with me. Let me ask them the kind of safety precautions that they are maintaining and the rules and regulations that they are abiding by. सबसे पहला सवाल तो आपसे यही है कि इतना खतरा मोल लेकर जो आप सबको डिलीवरी देते हैं, आप खुद कितने सुरक्षित हैं? आपके पास कितना प्रोटेक्टिव गियर है? मैं तो देख रहा हूँ आपने ये मुंह में बस अपना ही दुपट्टा ओढ़ रखा है.
हाँ, दुपट्टा ही मेरे लिए बहुत सेफ है क्योंकि डेली ये वॉश होता है तो मुझे टेंशन नहीं होता है, बल्कि मास्क में हम कितने जर्म्स तो साथ में लेके घूम रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं. तो इससे अच्छा तो दुपट्टा ही मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा है. और सैनिटाइजर मैं खुद से लगा के जब भी मैं कस्टमर को ऑर्डर देने जाती हूँ या लेने जाती हूँ रेस्टोरेंट में, अपना सैनिटाइजर खुद यूज करती हूँ क्योंकि मेरे से ज्यादा मुझे मेरे बच्चों की चिंता है.
मुझे दिखाइए कि आपके ये ग्लव्स कहाँ हैं? ग्लव्स किधर है आपके?
ग्लव्स मिला ही नहीं है कंपनी से.
ग्लव्स नहीं मिला है, ग्लव्स नहीं मिला गया. हम लोग कभी भी हमको सैनिटाइज,
जिसको नहीं मिला अपने हाथ खड़े करके दिखाइए.
हम लोग कंपनी बोली
मैं ये कपड़े का क्लॉथ्स वाला ग्लव्स यूज करती हूँ जो कि डेली वॉश होके यूज किया जाता है.
सैनिटाइजर किस किस को दिया है कंपनी ने? हाथ खड़ा करें.
कंपनी ने किसी को कुछ नहीं दिया सिवाय मास्क के.
कितने मास्क दिए हैं?
एक मास्क, सिंगल मास्क सबको मिला. सिंगल मास्क मिला, वो भी कब का मिला? बहुत पहले मिला, स्टार्टिंग पे कोरोना आया था वही टाइम पे हम लोग को मास्क मिला था. उसके बाद मास्क अभी तक हमको दोबारा मिला है.
कम से कम ये मेरा 9वां या 10वां सैनिटाइजर है जो हम लोग अपने आप से ले रहे हैं. कोई कंपनी हम लोग को प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रही है. और प्लस ग्लव्स की बात है सर, 1 पीस ग्लव्स 1 हैंड 7 रुपीज. सर 14 रुपीज एक टाइम के लिए सर हम लोग कहाँ से लाएंगे?
Amit, coming straight back to you now, you've heard voices of many of these delivery boys, who continue to function under this very difficult situation, both for their companies, for customers, and especially themselves. What is your thought? Amit, when you hear the voices of these delivery boys? It's difficult for them as well.
Then, I would say that some companies do give all protection gear to their delivery. I mean, like your Eat Fit, Domino's, they are doing a fabulous job. But then there are always black sheep, and I think Boxed needs to step up with claims, or step up whatever they say. They say that they sanitize kitchen for every 4 hours. I can't check that, but what I know is that they do. If the delivery man did not have a mask or gloves, either he was not given or there is some issue with it. So, yes, they should be given protective gear. But, the larger problem is at the time of delivery. Now, how these deliveries are made, I think that's the real issue. Now, where I live, it's a place called Jamaat Apartment. It's a cooperative housing society. Now, you must have heard people saying contactless delivery. Now, these contactless deliveries are the key, and that can only happen when...
Amit, I'm just going to try and improve that audio just a little bit. We're not able to hear you very clearly, so I'm going to just correct that audio in just a bit, and I'll come right back to you. Meanwhile, I have some voices of consumers across the country that we're going to play out for you. Before that, I just wanted to clarify, because we've got a clarification from Zomato, that we had a graphic saying that it was a Zomato delivery boy who picked up the pizza and took it. He isn't a Zomato delivery boy. He's a delivery boy from that particular restaurant who collected the pizza. Zomato has released a statement merely saying that some of the orders from this restaurant have been routed through the Zomato app. So they've clarified that the man is not a Zomato delivery boy. So that's an important clarification. The questions we will ask are for the delivery ecosystem in general, and whether these boys are given enough checks and enough protection in the execution of their duties in delivering food to all of us. Let's go straight to some voices we're getting, because ever since we started doing this story, we've been getting voices from across the country. People are worried. Should I order pizza? Can I order other food? Are there any safety precautions I can take? Many people, remember, are dependent on online deliveries of food. Take a look.
I feel in such situations, people should avoid food from outside or any kind of contact from outside when everyone is doing their bit, staying at home and just taking care of their families and just supporting the government by just staying home. Please, 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 please be alert.
Frankly speaking, it's very scary even to know this fact. But I have a comment about this. I think right now, it's almost like we invited the virus home. We should not observe a pseudo lockdown. Right now is the time to be absolutely responsible and conscious of what we choose to eat and what we avoid.
I would like to know if students are staying outside and they are ordering food online. So what all guidelines have you set for the home delivery boys, and what all guidelines will you give to students who are ordering food online? And are proper precautions being taken by them?
I would like to make a request to everybody that please always use the packagings that are clean, and always wash the packaging even though they are safe. Try to make it more safer for the environment, for us, and also from the other side for the outlets. They should follow the same norms and we should fight it together.
This is really sad. We don't know these online delivery apps. These companies claim that they are all safe. They are checking every employee and they have these systems involved. But are there thermal checkups? Do they check every employee who joins? And these employees, these delivery boys, are not very rich people. They have to work even during these days because they need money. Now the company had to take care of checking when they join in the morning and when they exit for home at the end of the day. The company should have taken care of checking thoroughly.
Shuchi, I think a lot of the voices kind of echo what you've been saying, which is that people who are looking to order pizza today, tomorrow, day after, and food in general are going to look for reassurance from the companies They believe that the delivery boys are just, you know, a small element in this entire chain. It's imperative on the companies to ensure that there are enough safety checks and balances so that if someone is infected or symptomatic, they are not, you know, in the system. Shuchi?
Shiv. Shiv, I think the problem is much bigger than just online food delivery. It goes across grocery deliveries and the everyday essentials that some of us buy and order. So apart from companies taking cognizance of the fact and, you know, putting strict guidelines in place and also equipping riders and other workers with proper equipment, it is also, I mean, we as consumers also need to sort of step up and, you know, wherever possible, because see, no contact delivery really might be a good step, but doesn't help much if your delivery person is infected, because the virus would have transferred onto the packaging or the bag or the box. So, I mean, we need to find a way to sort of ensure that, I mean, either we sanitize it at our end.
There has to be some kind of middle ground. I mean, it can't be a situation.
Yes,
Dr.
we
Swapnil,
cannot totally say let's not order food anymore. Let's
whether
not,
to order
because
food
you can
online
live
or
without
not.
pizza, you can't live without the essentials.
Reassurance that when they order food, the least they can be assured of is that it's not going to have, you know, be delivered by someone who has the coronavirus or is symptomatic. What kind of questions would you ask the companies, Dr. Swapnil?
So instead of questions, let me make some suggestions, and maybe the companies listening can implement these. We have to recognize that there are strategies we can use. So instead of giving just one mask, I understand there's a crisis of masks. We can give 5 masks. And what we can do is let them use one mask on one day. Then when they're done with that mask on the day, put it out in the sun for the next 5 days. Use the second mask. Label these masks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the second day, use mask number 2, put that out in the sun. So you continue this until you get to mask number 5. And then by the time you get back to mask number 1, there's a good chance that most of the virus, you know, would have been destroyed. The other thing is gloves are kind of useless because this virus doesn't go through your skin. So you just need to maintain hand hygiene. And maybe this is something consumers can help with, you know, pay it forward. So what you could do is when the delivery boy comes to your house, not everyone may have sanitizer, give him a little sanitizer, or if you don't have sanitizer, at least give some soapy, you know, water so that they can maintain hand hygiene. And then this is important. We have to understand that there is a tremendous cost associated with providing protective equipment, and there's a tremendous risk associated with delivering these items. So be a little generous with your tips. Maybe, you know, tip a little more so that there's hazard pay. Maybe companies can add a 20, 30, 50 rupee charge for the kind of work that's being done. And then you're incentivizing safety. But I think the responsibility is on all of us. It's not just on the company. This is a pandemic. It's on me, it's on you, it's on everyone who's ordering. And of course, it's on the company as well. Let's work together.
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastically sober way of putting it. It's not just on the delivery boys, certainly not just on the delivery boys, certainly not just on the companies. It's also on each and every one of us. Each and every one of us can do a little bit to ensure and incentivize safety. I like the use of the word incentivize there because really this is about our health. It's in our hands, and there are little things that we can do to make sure that everything else is also aligned. Many more voices coming in, because remember, pizza delivery is not just something that happens in Delhi and Mumbai. It happens everywhere in the country. More voices coming up.
At this point in time, when all efforts are directed towards stopping the spread of the pandemic, one must practice hygiene rules of wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, come what may. And since it's a grave situation, people should restrain themselves from ordering food if possible from outside.
My concern here is that we all are dependent on these delivery partners for food supplies and grocery supplies and medical supplies, because we cannot go outside, and it is important, that we do get services from them. We cannot, just close our doors from them. But if these delivery organizations can do something, can have a criteria where they know that who all delivery partners are actually fit, if there can be a medical test done beforehand, then we all will be safe.
आप बाहर का खाना मत खाइए, आप हेल्थी फूड खाइए, आप बाहर से कुछ मत मंगाइए, आपको जंक फूड नहीं खाना चाहिए वरना आपको कोरोना वायरस हो जाएगा।
सिचुएशन है पैनिक करने वाली, क्योंकि अब लोग क्या जोमेटो स्विगी वगैरह से खाना मंगवाएंगे या नहीं मंगवाएंगे, क्योंकि ऐसे में कोई भी नहीं मंगवाना चाहेगा। रेस्टोरेंट्स का बिजनेस डाउन होने वाला है, पीपल माइट इवन लूज देयर जॉब्स, दैट्स अ वेरी रिस्की सिचुएशन।
Swapnil, there's going to be many more days under this lockdown, and there is no assurance that even after that, things will open up in a sudden way and everything will just go back to normal. Is it imperative on companies, delivery boys, individuals, even regulatory authorities now to make sure that there is no big backlash from what has happened in Delhi? This kind of thing can go viral on social media and people, then say, I don't want to take a risk. This is also about the economy. The e-commerce, online delivery economy is fragile. It's one of the few things that's functioning right now under lockdown. So is it important upon the government as well to make sure that this doesn't become a kind of shock factor and lead to something much worse?
Shiv, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's absolutely incumbent on everyone to make sure all our decision making should always be evidence-based. Our decision shouldn't come from a place of fear. They should come from a place of science. And let's look at it realistically. I'm a doctor. I'm on some of your TV channels right now. Am I essential to you right now? No, I'm not. I'm sitting in my house. I do work on the front lines, but I'm not essential to you. A delivery individual is essential to you. He is more important in your life than I am. Yes. A person who cleans the roads, who disinfects the roads, is more essential to you right now than I am. So we need to think about these people as well. And we have to think about their safety. We have to think about the economic security of the country.
Yes.
And frankly, maybe I'm not the most qualified person to comment on some of these larger issues, but I can tell you that we should always have a humanitarian approach, because that's what controls infection. If we start dividing ourselves and drawing up these lines, like I'm just going to think about my own safety, then nobody is safe. In a pandemic, it only takes one person to spread infection. Either we're all safe or nobody is safe.
Very true. Shuchi, are there any thumb rules you follow? We've got some tips for our viewers on, what to do and what not to do while ordering food. Is there anything, are there any things that you look for when you're ordering food? Are any tips that you can give to our viewers?
Yes, I do. I just try and be a little more careful at my end because, although I'm sure everybody who's in the delivery chain must be doing their bit to sort of keep things safe. But if I'm ordering groceries, I would probably leave the bag out for a few hours if there is nothing that will go bad in it, and take it in later. Or once I have unpacked everything, I'll just rub a sanitizer on all the packets and the foils and everything, so that and then sanitize my own hands, so that even if there has been a transmission onto the fomites, it will be sort of stopped there. And then again, even if it is on your hand for some reason, after handling all that stuff, after putting things away, just clean your hands once, because until it gets into your respiratory system, you're fine.
Okay, so there are precautions that people can take at their end as well. More voices coming in. As I'm bringing you this broadcast, we're getting more and more voices. We're being inundated by voices from people across the country. So I have to play those for you, because this is India's public. These are people who are tuning in right now, sending us their voices, because they want to know what it's going to be like. Can I order a pizza? Can I not order a pizza? Can I order other food? Who's responsible for what's going on? More voices.
I would really encourage people to cook themselves. To, unless absolutely essential, try opting for contactless delivery, like literally stay 6 feet away from the delivery guy and use gloves and all that protective measure to protect yourselves.
As we all know, COVID virus stays on the surface for almost 12 to 14 hours. So any person who delivers it, if he or she is affected, then they will obviously comes in contact with the item. So why can't government put total restriction on delivery system? As I think the life of a person is more precious than a pizza at one-time meal.
My question is there a way that we can sanitize the products that we get from outside? Because on a daily basis, we do go out and get, the daily products that we need in our house and food at some times where we have no choice. So is there a way we can, sort of sanitize those products once they have come to us and only then we go ahead and use them?
Him dropping off the food with the guard doesn't really help because he's putting the guard or the watchman at risk. And is that fair on them while they're away from their homes and away from their homes and family? So that's something that we should definitely take into account.
Dr. Swapnil Parekh, I don't want to ask this question because I really don't want something like this to be happening and I don't want to jinx it. But given what a precarious situation India is in right now, and given how knee-jerk some reactions might be in terms of government actions, etc. I don't know if they're going to happen or not. But is there a situation you see where online deliveries of this kind could actually be banned, or there could be a moratorium on food deliveries as a result of this? I mean, I'm imagining if there are more such cases of delivery agents being infected with the virus, who knows what could happen?
So Shiv, what I would say is that there are some deliveries that are just essential, like let's say soap, water, laundry detergent, basic food items, you can't do without those. And in the times of physical distancing and lockdown, you have to allow those essential services. But yes, maybe we could say that e-commerce like clothing, pizza, things that aren't really essentials, we could think about, restricting those. But there are things you can do even when you order beyond just hand hygiene. So like, I'll give you an example what I do sometimes, I come back late from work, I can't cook a meal. When you do get your food, try and have a staging area in your house. So what I mean by a staging area is one area where you're going to unpack everything. What I do is I keep a plate over there. It's a clean plate. I unpack the food near the door, into the plate. I wash my hands, I sanitize my hands. I get rid of all the containers right away. I clean my hands again. I take the plate into the kitchen. I pop it into the microwave. I wash my hands again. I mean, I'm a little obsessive about washing my hands. And then I'll eat my food. So, hand hygiene, thinking a little carefully about getting rid of the containers as quickly as possible. And of course, contactless delivery. Those are some precautions you can take if you find yourself in the position where you have to order, food. But let's be realistic. It's not just about pizza, right? It's about essentials of life that we can't do without. So I don't think getting rid of all home deliveries is a viable option. Thinking a little carefully about getting rid of the containers as plus contactless delivery. Those are some precautions you can take if you find yourself in the position where you have to order. But let's food. Be realistic. It's not just about essentials of life that we can't do pizza, right? It's about essential without. So I don't get rid of all home deliveries. I think getting a viable option. Thinking a little carefully about quickly as possible, and of course getting rid of the containers as plus contactless delivery. Those are some find yourself in the position precautions you can take if you find where you have to order. But let's food essentials of life that we can't do pizza, right? It's about essentially realistic. It's not just about do without. So I don't think getting rid of all home deliveries is a viable option. Carefully about thinking a little, getting rid of the containers as plus contactless delivery quickly as possible, and of course find yourself in the position precautions you can take if you find where you have to order. But those are some food pizza, right? It's about essentially realistic. It's not just about do without. So I don't think getting essentials of life that we can't do a viable option. rid of all home deliveries is carefully about thinking a little contactless delivery, getting rid of the containers as find yourself in the position precautions you can take if you quickly as possible. And of course, but let's be those are some where you have to order pizza, right? It's about essentially realistic. It's not just about do without. So I don't think getting rituals of life that we can't do a viable option. Food. Carefully about getting thinking a little contactless delivery, getting rid of the containers as precautions you can take if you find yourself in the position quickly as possible. And of course, those are some. But let's be where you have to order pizza, right? It's about essentially realistic. It's not just about do without. So I don't think getting rituals of life that we can't do a viable option. Food. Carefully about getting thinking a little contactless delivery, getting rid of the containers as precautions you can take if you find yourself in the position quickly as possible. And of course, but let's be those are some where you have to order. Be realistic. It's not just about pizza, right? It's about essentially without. So I don't think getting rituals of life that we can't do a viable option. Food. Carefully about getting thinking a little, getting rid of the containers as contactless delivery, precautions you can take if you find yourself in the position quickly as possible. And of course, those are some. But let's be where you have to order pizza, right? It's about essentially.
To a bull's funeral in Tamil Nadu, in a major breach of Section 144 and every other coronavirus rule that has been imposed on all of us in this country. You should see what happened in a village outside Madurai in Tamil Nadu. You know Jallikattu, you remember the bull taming ritual. Well, a famous iconic bull of the ritual passed away yesterday. And then they held a funeral to bid that poor bull farewell, except that thousands emerged throwing social distancing to the wind. Take a look. A ceremonial procession in the season of COVID-19. No face masks, no social distancing, and zero regard for the Prime Minister's nationwide appeal. This huge crowd in Tamil Nadu's Muduvarpatti village has gathered for the funeral of a temple bull. You remember the ceremonial bull taming festival, Jallikattu? The bull named Mulli was a famous local Jallikattu icon, and that's why people from across the district arrived in such huge numbers to pay their respects. Mulli died on Wednesday morning. Its remains paraded through the village before the final rites. All through the stretch, the crowds followed. Not only is this event a gross violation of Section 144, but virtually every other rule imposed to contain the spread of coronavirus. An FIR has been registered against the people who conducted the bull's funeral.
The bull's funeral takes place in a state that has over 1,200 COVID-19 cases. And the EPS government is fighting an uphill battle to try containing the situation in the state. Jallikattu, earlier banned as you remember, saw a comeback after massive protests on Chennai's Marina Beach back in 2017. The huge public movement forced the state and then the centre to issue an ordinance allowing Jallikattu to be performed again. It has since continued with great popularity. But the question now is, can safety be sacrificed at the altar of popularity and faith? Can India afford even the slightest such misstep? With Akshay Anath in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today. Meanwhile, the Nizamuddin Tablighi Jamaat congregation last month in Delhi has taken a huge toll, that you already know, in the fight against coronavirus across the country. With COVID cases continuing to spike, a new estimate says that 40 children in the age group of 3 to 17 years have tested positive in Andhra Pradesh, and all of them directly as a result of contact with family members who attended the Tablighi Jamaat event in Delhi. It's not just Andhra Pradesh, but in neighboring Telangana, the situation is more or less the same. There are 20 children who have tested positive in Hyderabad, and again all of them are linked to family members who attended the Tablighi Jamaat event. So 60 children, minors, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh combined have got the virus thanks to family members who attended the Nizamuddin Markaz event.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.